Hello everyone, this is Jenny Yetto from the Pixie Post, and I wanted to do a quick little intro before we get into the heart of this video. It's actually some content that I did yesterday, so I wanted to share this with you. And it basically kickstarts off my mini-series of Mindful Mondays. And every Monday I'm going to be uploading some content where it either encourages you, inspires you, or it motivates you to self-empower yourself, to light that spark that's within you, to positively impact your own life as well as others around you. And this video is basically addressing a couple of the habits I've noticed I've been doing that were lowering my energy frequency and what I did to turn it around. Now, again, disclaimer, I am not perfect. I would never claim to be, and it's always a work in progress. But I hope that at least you can get something from it and help apply that to your own life. So as we get into it, I want to thank you for stopping by and watching this video. If you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? I have tons of content you might like, and I would love to have you stay along with the journey. And until the next time, remember, to know thyself is to know thy truth. Namaste. And it really, really makes a difference because the higher frequency your energy is at, the more your outer reality will reflect that. And you can even do a test, because what I did the other day, I got on the phone right away when I first woke up. I just automatic reached for my phone, figured out, looked at what I missed overnight. Most of the time it's not really anything, except for a couple of things. And I don't know why, but nothing bad happened, but my frequency wasn't that great, and I didn't get as much done, and I just felt, and it was really weird. I never noticed that before. So I thought, And so I traced back to that I was undulated with news alerts and with texts and with notifications on several apps I blog on or, carry on conversations with. And I realized, because I didn't take that time out for me personally and reconnect with my inner self and kind of checked in, I didn't feel like I was on the right spot. I wasn't on the right path. So the next day, I took just a half hour. It wasn't even that long. After I woke up, I did my little morning routine. And just had a cup of coffee, and then I reached for the phone. Then I checked in. Then even with that, I was in a much better mindset, and it was really interesting what a little tweak in my morning routine could make such a difference throughout the whole day. Also, I have noticed changes within myself. I've noticed that there are a lot of issues I had throughout the years of abandonment and of envy, of not feeling quite enough. And a lot of that was self-imposed throughout the years through some experiences I went through. And while I still struggle with these once in a while, I've noticed I've transmuted a lot of that energy, and now that envy doesn't come up. When it does, I stop and I check in with myself and go, okay, why am I feeling this way? And sometimes I'll step back for the day and just kind of, reflect on it and do something else which doesn't trigger any of that. But in the behind the scenes, in my heart space, I'm working all that out. And I've noticed I can come back from it quicker. So it doesn't flare up as much. And those are one of the lessons I had to learn, is not to be envious of certain people or certain situations, that I am enough and that I am here for a reason. And that took me a while to get over that. And you never really get over it. You just work through it. And really, that's the only way you can, conquer anything. You can't ignore it. You can't push it aside. You can't stuff it down to the back of your brain where you put it in a safe or something and go, okay, well, I'll just deal with that later. No, it's going to come out even worse than ever if you don't work on it. And it sucks. Sometimes you're in the prime of your life, you're having a great time, you're feeling good, you're feeling awakened, high vibe, everything, and then that trigger happens and you're just like, what the hell? Where did that come from? But it always comes from some root issue. And sometimes it's current life, sometimes it's from your past, sometimes it can be from something else. So it really depends. It's up to you to work on that. And when you have people who care about you and who kind of like, I hate using this word, but are like your tribe, basically people who resonate with the path you're on or are going through their own awakening, so they get it, they understand why you have those feelings or the triggers or incidences, and it really helps to have that support. But the most important support is the support you give yourself, because honey, you can't get away from yourself. So you have to be your own best friend. And I know that sounds cliche, but you really are what you have. Everybody else is just icing on the cake, but you are the one you have the most. So that's why it's good to be aware of your inner reality. Be aware of self-talk. Be aware of what you're telling yourself. Negative self-talk is very, very prevalent in a lot of our lives, as well as self-deprecating humor. I love laughter. Humor is amazing. I can't imagine life without laughter. It's amazing. But I used to do a lot of self-deprecating humor. Even Tim used to do that. And that was just our ways of coping with our insecurities. Of course, I didn't realize that at the time. It was just something we all did. And I mean, I still do it, and I catch myself. But I've noticed that not just everybody around me hears that. I hear it. I'm hearing it. And there was one time that I said something, humor at my expense, just trying to get a laugh out of people. And while that succeeded, I realized how lousy I felt afterwards. And I was like, I'm very, very intentional. I'm not hurting people's feelings. Even when I speak my truth, I'm very careful how I deliver it, because the words you speak are very powerful, whether you realize it or not. But the thing I've neglected to understand is the words I was saying about myself was hurting my own feelings. It was actually hurting me. And when that light bulb went off in my head, I realized I had to change something. So yes, I joke around all the time. I still have humor. Maybe on the border of self-deprecating. I'm not going to say I'm perfect, but I do it a lot less at my own expense, because I don't deserve that, and none of you deserve that. And I know that's unfortunately some people's way of doing humor, and that's the only way they know how to do it. They get a laugh out of somebody, and while there's good intention involved, it still hurts. It's still, whether they realize it or not, they're listening. So it was quite a revelation for me. I'm just going with the flow. That's the only way you can do it. When I resist things, they're so much damn harder, much more harder than they need to be. So that's another way I'm checking in with myself and seeing what resonates, see what feels right. And I think that's what a lot of us have to tap into more, is our heart space, to really not what feels good like in a superficial way, but what really resonates with your truth, what really serves you. Because if you're doing patterns that you've always been doing, but they're no longer resonating for you, or they just don't do anything for you anymore, then you know it's time to change. You know it's time to let it go. And humans are so afraid of change. And whether it's a good change or bad change, we get stuck in our comfort zone, in a little, cozy little box, and we don't want to go out of it because that means we have to do something. We have to change something. We might have to be a little uncomfortable. But that's the only way we grow. That's the only way we expand in our consciousness. And that's the only way we get unstuck. Because if you feel stuck right now, if you feel that stale energy, that's telling you something needs to change. And it doesn't have to be drastic. It could be just a matter of decluttering your house, or taking a different route to work or to the park, or, whatever. It could be anything. It could be a million things. It's whatever resonates for you. But guaranteed, the first thing you think of that is giving you that stale, stuck energy feeling, that's what you have to work on. And I've had a couple of things like that I've been having to do lately. And there's a couple other things I got to work on to clear all that as well. And it's an interesting process. So I've been really more aware about my inner reality, because every time I change something or shift something, my outer reality changes. It's like I almost jump to a different timeline, the timeline I want to be on. Because we all have parallel timelines. And I'll get into that next day. We could go down a whole rabbit hole. I don't want to kill you all, just with all the overload of information. But just check in with yourself. Check in with yourself every day. See how you are. If nobody else checks in with you, at least you know you have. You can be your own best friend. You can take care of your inner self. Your inner self is your intuition. It's always there. It's not going anywhere. It's just a matter of us to be open and listen. So listen to what your heart and your inner self is telling you, and allow your own intuition to guide you. That's old advice, but it's so true. And the easier time you'll have, even when you're in a time of conflict or frustration, you'll get through it more gracefully and more and even quicker, possibly.